Before the telegraph could whisper across oceans or fiber optics could bind the globe, distance was an absolute tyrant. In the mid-19th century, the American landmass was a formidable void, a sprawling expanse that demanded 6 brutal months of travel to cross. Yet, within a single decade, that punishing journey was compressed into a mere 7 days. This sudden collapse of space and time was not the result of a quiet technological evolution, but a violent, earth-shattering collision between raw geography and unprecedented ambition. It required an undertaking so massive it permanently altered the trajectory of a nation. The mandate to build the Transcontinental Railroad was an audacious gamble against nature itself. 2 rival entities, the Central Pacific building east from California and the Union Pacific pushing west from the Missouri River, were tasked with forging a continuous ribbon of steel across nearly 2,000 miles of untamed wilderness. This continent-spanning railroad was America's first true megaproject, demanding logistical orchestration on a scale previously reserved for waging war. Mountains had to be pierced, deserts conquered, and rivers bridged, all using the nascent industrial technologies of the 1860s. But the true currency of this endeavor was not iron or capital, but extreme human cost. In the formidable granite wall of the Sierra Nevada, the Central Pacific relied overwhelmingly on the labor of thousands of Chinese immigrants. These workers were suspended in woven baskets over dizzying gorges, chipping away at sheer cliff faces with hand tools. They endured lethal avalanches and sub-zero blizzards, carving out tunnels inch by agonizing inch. Their profound sacrifice is permanently etched into the very topography of the American West, a silent testament to the immense human effort required to move mountains. The engineering ingenuity behind this push relied on terrifying volatile chemistry. To shatter the ancient rock of the high passes, laborers packed hand-drilled holes with black powder and, eventually, the highly unstable compound nitroglycerin. The margin for error was absolutely zero. A delayed fuse or a sudden spark meant instant annihilation for the blasting crews. Yet they pressed forward, systematically dismantling geological barriers that had stood for millions of years. This brutal, mechanized destruction laid the literal foundation for a new era of hyperconnectivity. Meanwhile, on the vast expanse of the Great Plains, the Union Pacific faced a completely different matrix of survival. Irish immigrants, Civil War veterans, and freedmen laid tracks across a seemingly infinite sun-baked horizon. They battled flash floods, cholera outbreaks, and a crippling lack of timber and water, requiring every single wooden tie and iron rail to be shipped hundreds of miles to the end of the line. The logistical supply chain was a living, sprawling organism, stretching back to the industrial centers of the East. The relentless advance of this iron artery triggered devastating, irreversible ecological and cultural shockwaves. The tracks drove a permanent wedge through the ancestral hunting grounds of indigenous nations, sparking decades of conflict and systematic displacement. Simultaneously, the railroad facilitated the mass commercial slaughter of the American bison, pushing a keystone species to the brink of extinction within a few short years. The triumph of infrastructure was inextricably linked to the erasure of an ancient way of life, proving that technological progress rarely arrives without profound collateral damage. The culmination of this monumental struggle arrived with the 1869 completion at Promontory Summit, Utah. When the ceremonial final spike was driven into a polished laurel tie, a telegraph operator tapped out a single word to the waiting nation: "Done." In that singular electric moment, the fractured coasts of America were irrevocably welded together. The impossible had been rendered mundane. A journey that once claimed the lives of countless pioneers was suddenly available to anyone holding a ticket, fundamentally rewiring the economic and social circuitry of the entire continent. The echoes of that golden spike still resonate through our modern infrastructural reality. The operational demands of managing such a vast network necessitated the invention of standardized time zones, imposing a synchronized mechanical rhythm onto the natural world. The corporate structures, supply chain logistics, and labor management techniques forged in the fires of this project became the blueprint for the modern megacorporation. The railroad did not just move people and freight, it manufactured the blueprint for 20th century industrial capitalism. Yet, as we look back at the origins of this monumental achievement, we must confront a deeply uncomfortable dichotomy. The sheer brilliance of the network's design cannot be untangled from the exploitation and suffering of the diverse workforce that built it. The ledger of progress is stained with the blood of those who labored in the shadows of history. Acknowledging this duality does not diminish the technological marvel, but rather grounds it in the stark, unyielding reality of human vulnerability. Today, as we lay fiber optic cables across ocean floors and design orbital satellite constellations, we are still chasing the same fundamental imperative to connect and compress our world. The lessons from that 19th century endeavor remain startlingly relevant. Every leap in our collective capabilities demands a rigorous accounting of who pays the price and who reaps the reward. The story of America's first great iron network is a permanent reminder that behind every leap of technological evolution lies an ocean of human endurance, forever shaping the landscapes of our future.